I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Sometimes I get it wrong. Hard to believe, I know, but it's true. Sometimes my emotions get the best of me, and I speak or act or post something impulsively, which, as you might guess, doesn't usually work out. Just ask my wife. Weekly shout out to Courtney. But look, we all make mistakes, right? We all let emotion get in the way of reason sometimes. It's part of being human. But what separates people of integrity from people of inschmegrity is the assumption that we will get things wrong. So we need to be constantly vigilant. And when we do err, we must swiftly and comprehensively work to erase or correct the mistake and learn from it. Not exactly the most popular practice these days. Indeed, I've observed a very common mistake that all of us make with regularity, yet rarely seek to clear up. And it falls under a number of common cognitive biases, which, if you've been listening to this show long enough, you know I find endlessly fascinating. Take your pick: truth bias, cognitive ease, illusory truth effect, confirmation bias, heuristic processing. ChatGPT's got the details, but they're basically all variations on a theme. The default behavior, whereby we unconsciously accept something we read or watch or hear as truth without any due diligence, just because it's been repeated or feels familiar or is less mental work than actual analysis or confirms a previously held belief, or just because our instinct is to assume others are telling the truth. We get snared by these cognitive pitfalls all the time in ways both large and small. Small example. A store clerk tells you it's going to rain today. Then later you tell your friend it's going to rain today. You didn't check the weather. You didn't look outside. You didn't even know this guy. But you believe it's going to rain as a matter of fact, simply because someone told you it would. Bigger example: social media. We'll repost a friend or an expert or even a stranger without literally any verification or deep knowledge on the subject. We just accept the post as complete and total fact, hit a couple buttons, and boom, we've joined the conversation. I fell prey to this pattern recently when I reposted a news story about which, frankly, I was not well informed. Immediately, some folks DM'd me with counterpoints, and I realized my understanding was so shallow, based entirely on other people's voices, news snippets, and Instagram reels, that I was not remotely equipped to respond. So, I cleaned up the mistake. I deleted the post, because if I don't know what I'm talking about, why the hell am I talking about it? Since that day, I've been using a mantra of sorts, one that I think would change the world if we all took it up. Before I post or speak, I ask myself this simple question: how much do I really know about this? That's it. That's the whole thing. And if the answer is not a lot, close the app, close your mouth, and open a search bar. Or better yet, a book. Social media's greatest double-edged sword is the platform it provides us. Every human on Earth with an electronic device has access to their own globally broadcastable microphone. The mistake we make is thinking that just because we have access to this mic means we have to use it, or that people should inherently care about what we have to say. And because people feel this need, this obligation, or even this entitlement to weigh in on absolutely everything, the internet becomes a clogged toilet. It's full of crap. This thoughtless embrace and propagation of hearsay as fact can have massive implications in the real world. There's perhaps no greater recent example of this than the conversation surrounding the Israel-Gaza war. We were told the IDF bombed Al-Ahli Arab Hospital, except it didn't. We were told there's a famine in Gaza, except there wasn't. We were told Israel is an apartheid state. It's not. So how did these ideas become so widely accepted? It starts at the top. In the case of Al-Ahli Hospital, for example, the media tripped over itself to lay blame for the explosion at Israel's feet, basing their journalism entirely off the hastily proffered word of Hamas, the terrorist organization that takes babies hostage and murders them. Social media took the baton from there, and before you knew it, it was fact, even though it wasn't. And even once the media retracted it, it was too late. In the case of the famine, the announcement first came from Doge casualty USAID, RIP, who erroneously based their conclusion off misapplied data that was flat out denounced by the Global Famine Review Committee. But the damage was done. In both of those situations, the lies came from the top and were then swept up so excitedly by an uninformed and uncritically thinking public that they became ubiquitously accepted as fact, despite nobody at any point having the actual knowledge of the situation's reality. As for the claims of apartheid, they certainly aren't coming from actual Arabs living in Israel, where they're allegedly being apartheided. No, they come from somebody's friend who got it from his teacher, who got it from an NGO, whose social media manager got it from an anti Israel TikTok account. A key part of the how much do I really know about this question is where did I actually receive this knowledge from? Which leads me to an even more important question: who does this serve? Again, simple but insightful. Who does it serve for the world to believe Israel has blown up a hospital or starved Gazans or promoted apartheid? The enemies of Israel. Who does it serve for Gaza to have restricted press so that all access to information is funneled solely through Hamas? Adoy. What about the way social media algorithms silo us and shove incendiary content down our throats? Who does this serve? I mean, look at TikTok. What is the effect of having emotionally charged, politically polarizing, inflammatory content pushed onto your homepage? Discord, chaos. And who does sowing deep political and social animosity within the West serve? The Chinese government, who own the freaking app. It shocks me that there isn't a government position where someone literally gets on the news every morning and shouts, TikTok is a Chinese psyop built specifically to screw with America. I don't know, maybe that was a job and Elon fired him. But I feel pretty confident that looking back on this prime example of American folly is going to shock future historians. They knew it was a Chinese manipulation and just kept using it anyway? Who does that serve? I'll let you untangle that one on your own. Who does this serve? How much do I really know about this? These are the questions of the critically thinking, those of us more interested in working to get it right than just being right. Try them out. Let me know how it goes. Just because the rest of the world acts with integrity doesn't mean we have to. We can demand a personal standard of prudent and deliberate behavior online and IRL. And in case you're wondering, yes, I know a good amount about this stuff. And who does this monologue serve? Hopefully, you. This is the 33rd episode of Being Jewish with me, Jonah Platt.